Clash of Clans podcast, special episode number 12. It is Scotty back with a new special episode, an interview I did with Weston just a little while ago. And I'm a little sick in this episode, so bear with me. As always, get a hold of us at clashclanspodcast.com or by calling 424-27-CLASH. What, Boneyard? 424-27-CLASH. He's not here. Anyways, hope you enjoy the episode. Talk about some good stuff. More on the way. Welcome back, Clash of Clans podcast. This is Scotty here, coming to you with Weston for another special episode. We actually recorded one earlier, but we had a little bit of tech stuff, and then the update and everything happened, so we thought, well, let's just redo it. So, welcome. Glad to have you back, Weston.
Yes, Scotty, it's a pleasure.
Hey, Weston, so what's been happening? What's going on since we last talked?
Well, since we last talked, I've been playing a lot of Clash of Clans. Been doing the same strategy, the 20-minute barbs and archers.
Okay.
I've been raiding a lot, and I've been getting some upgrades done, so it's been pretty fun.
All right, so you are at Town Hall 9, right?
Correct.
Okay. And where are you sitting in trophies?
1331 right now.
Okay, and you're hanging out down there, and you're taking in, what's your army? All barbs and...
Barbs and archers and about 10 wall breakers.
Okay, and then, so how are you, what are the raids you're coming up against?
I just took an 800k raid.
Ooh. What are you getting for Dark Elixir down there?
About 500 a raid.
Okay, and so you're only using, all right, well that actually, would be...
People think I'm crazy for being down here, but, I like being crazy because it's making me a lot of progress, so I'm enjoying it.
I did take your advice, or at least I was experimenting, and I did go down, and I got down to about 1,700, and I was having some problems. I don't know, I couldn't get enough Dark Elixir, so I switched to all Elixir troops. And I gained it fast, but I wasn't getting gold, and I wasn't getting, enough elixir. It seemed like with my Town Hall 10, it almost, I need to almost stay about 1,800 just to, I don't know, or at least have maybe really exciting battles for me. But, like with an all barb army, going down, I don't know if I would actually get a lot of loot.
Right, because you're Town Hall 10. I've never really experimented with any Town Hall 10 stuff. So.
Well, let me ask you this. Maybe this was my problem. How long do you spend going through, looking at different camps, that type of thing?
Max, rarely. I rarely have to go over 30 searches. Rarely.
Okay, and then so when you go into a search, I mean, what is it? What is it that you're looking for? Besides loot, what determines if you're going to attack or not?
What determines? Well, mainly the wizard towers and the mortars. Since I'm doing all ground, I have to really pay attention to that. Mostly, it's all level 4 and 3 mortars, so it's really no problem to get your troops in there and execute. So,
okay,
it's as long as the mortars are low, they can't be level 7. I can take level 6s. The wizard towers need to be 5 and below.
Okay.
And the archer towers need to be around 8 and below. So.
Okay. And then that combined with loot, then what about placement of the mortars and stuff? Is there anything you just really avoid?
Well, there's a lot of new players down here. When I say new players, I mean a lot of Town Hall 8s, and that to me that's a little bit new because most of them are premature, and they don't know a lot about the game. You can tell by their base design, and most of them, the mortars are on the outside, honestly, so you can just get rid of the mortars really fast. But every now and then you'll come across a smart guy who actually has a really nice base, and he's like me, getting down here and getting this good loot.
That's very nice. I think Boneyard was talking about dropping again, and seeing what he could do. So do you How do you just drop trophies once you win a few attacks, or do you kind of, you know.
Well, basically that's it. And when I never go over 1,400 trophies because you start getting into a lot of Town Hall 8 territory there.
Okay.
And the right player can ace my base surprisingly, even though I'm almost level 95 and well in the Town Hall 9. There's good players anywhere from 1,400 to on up, you know, that will easily ace me. I mean,
it seems to me like I run into once I hit Town Hall 8, you know, 2 below me. It's really iffy for loot. So that would make sense, I guess, in terms of where you're at and you know, what you are rating. Because right now, like if I hit a 9 really good, you know, it can be pretty awesome. But have you seen a lot of loot? Or I guess, you know, you're seeing a lot of loot there, but what have you been hearing about, you know, in the game since the update with the loot stuff?
Well, ever since the loot update, it started out very, very poor loot, it was getting very aggravating. I was max Town Hall 8 at the time.
Okay.
It caught me in a real bad position because I was having to get my Town Hall 9 upgrade. And every time I would get the, you know, almost 3 million gold, I would get offline and I'd get ace for like 500k of each resource.
Oh.
And it was just killing me. And I almost like literally just rage quit the game, you know, because it took me 3 days to get that upgrade done, which is insane. The loot was like 50k a battle. Terrible loot, and I was at 1,500 then. I was going from 1,500 to 1,200 to 1,600. I was going all over the place. So, I mean, I was scrambling, to be honest.
So how do you think it changed the game? I mean, because, you know, that makes sense, right? So the update happens, people, depending on where they're at in the game, you know, and based, you know, there was a whole different set of rules when you could only do 200k, you know, about, you know, roughly, you know, given, you know, the other percentages mixed in, you know, that changes a lot when you're in a strategy too, don't you think?
Definitely. When it first hit, it was just mainly short term. I mean, after the first 5 days, things started getting a lot better, and now they're even better for me down here. I know a lot of people are still having problems at 1,600. But there's still the sweet spots. You still have to find the sweet spot. There's not loot everywhere.
Right.
You still have to look at it like that. So don't get frustrated. You have to find your sweet spot. If you're Town Hall 9, I honestly recommend you coming down to around the 1,400 range, the 1,300 range. It's up to you, but this is where I'm finding all my great loot at, and I'm farming around 3 million a day.
Yeah. You know, I think if I would have started playing before or after the loot update, I think things would have changed a lot. Because, you know, the Town Hall difference mattered before, right? But
definitely,
if you had climbed and you had rushed and you had got up there, I can imagine that after that update, you were hurting pretty bad because, you know, like for a while there, I thought, you know what, I don't even really need to worry about my base so much because they can only take so much loot each time. They can only take 200k of each. I can usually get that back, you know, and collect resources in the meantime. So there just wasn't that big stake in it. And,
right.
And I think players who rushed and then got caught with that update didn't have, you know, a really strong base to rely on to get that gold. And then, of course, they're stuck with a Town Hall that's higher. And then they have problems with raids and getting stuff and then keeping it.
Well, I think people run into the issue. Some players run into the issue of maxing out their elixir, doing all their elixir stuff first, and getting that done. They're like, "Wow, I'm wasting elixir. Let me just keep climbing. Let me, you know, upgrade my Town Hall to Town Hall 9." When really their wizard towers are really low and their wall level, but they have good troops and, you know, good collectors. I know a lot of people run into that problem, and that's why I constantly tell people, do it in a 1-to-1 radius. So do a elixir upgrade, then do a gold upgrade. That way you kind of balance it out.
Okay, so you know, that makes sense because you've been talking, and I know we talked about it in the first interview, and you said this with Boneyard about maxing out your town hall,
right?
Everything at your town hall, and Boneyard is on that strategy. And I've been meaning to talk to Boots about it because he really stuck with it and ground it out. But I had kind of been at that mindset that, well, I don't want to waste this elixir. But yeah, you're right. Had I approached it differently, then maybe I wouldn't have been in that position and did exactly what you said, because that to me was, okay, that means I need to go up.
Right, and what I'm trying to do right now, I'm in a tight spot at Town Hall 9 where, loot's going good for me, everything's going good, it's just I have to strategize it now. I have to make it as fast as possible in a sense, but get everything done.
Right.
So this is the point I'm at. So what I'm doing right now, I'm trying to get my level 9 walls in. I currently only have one. I'm kind of trying to knock out my
You're doing
lowest
the $1 million
upgrades.
walls?
Yes, I'm going to do every one of them.
You're going to do, oh my God.
Now, this might change in a month depending on the loot. So, don't hold me to it because the loot system is very up and down, as we know. It's just like the stock market.
Right.
So, if loot's still good a month from now and when I have a lot of these gold upgrades out of the way, I'll definitely be taking on the task.
So you're going to, okay, and you're going to do that before you go on to Town Hall 10.
Right. I've done all my level 8 walls in a month.
Okay.
I've done 8 a day.
So what else are you upgrading then right now?
I'm doing the mortar, I'm doing the air defense, and I'm doing my spell factory. I would have all my builders going. I try to. It's hard, but I've been behind with school, so I'm catching up slowly.
So what else do you have left to do in terms of defenses at Town Hall 9?
Honestly, I have quite a lot. I'm doing I found myself trying to go for these wizard towers to level 7. My wizard tower is level 6 right now.
So
and I was like,
is pink 6? 7 is
yes,
blue?
Yes, pink is 6. 7
okay.
is blue or purple, arguably.
Yeah,
so,
okay.
Well, the problem I had was it's like I was going for these big upgrades, 5 million-ish, and it's so, it takes a while to get up there. Once you get up there, you start hitting. Surprisingly, I'm at 1,300 trophies. The right guy will run across me, that's
right.
looking for a base like mine, and he'll ace me. So I said, I need to go ahead and do my mortars. The mortars to level 7 would be a good investment and help me out a lot. And then I think from there, I'm going to do the Teslas and then
right.
hit the wizard towers. So that's kind of what I'm pushing at. And I'm kind of debating on the expos. I'm probably going to take them to level 2, but I don't think I'm debating level 3. I don't know why. I'm debating it. I've heard a lot of mixed reviews.
This is what's been my strategy. And I want to know what you think about in terms of what you upgrade first. But I kind of ran into this, with the Town Hall 10 and then, the expos and everything. But I started to go for range. The reason the expos where I have them placed in my camp and everything, because I have the widest range, they have the most potential, I think, for damage. Kind of like the mortars. I know it's a single shot, but it does take down whatever is coming closest. So that it helps with bombers. And the mortars are a little slow.
Right.
I went to Town Hall 10 and I haven't went up on my mortar, and usually that's the first thing I do. But I started doing the range things, and then I went for I wondered about the strategy of the cheapest thing first, and I did that for a while, and actually it's kind of working out. I did do a couple things, and now I'm working on my wizard tower. I'm gonna do one of each thing at a time. So my archer tower and air defense, and the wizard tower. And then once the air defenses, my last one is done before the big one, I'll focus on mortars and those things. But so what's your take on that? What's your strategy when you're gonna, what you upgrade first or anything like that?
Well, I was thinking about this, earlier today, and I was like, well, once I get to Town Hall 10, I'm definitely going to have to go up in trophies unless something drastically changes with the loot system. So, honestly, my prediction of what I want to do is I'm going to get the expos to level 2, and I'm going to stop them there. Because once I get Town Hall 10, it's going to be, elixir rush, like you said, every time you go into a new town hall, there's tons of stuff to do with Elixir. And
Right.
when I go up, I mean, when you get up around the 1700 range, no matter how good your base is, I've seen even maxed out bases get ace there. I mean, it's just how it works. It's 1700 trophies. It's a common, hot spot for finding loot, 1800 to 2000.
Right.
So, I mean,
Yeah.
if I have these people that are acing me, and every time I have to refill my expos at 80,000, if I had level 3 expos, that would be putting a ton of pressure on me, making a ton harder for me getting an elixir.
I thought the exact same thing. But I
And
also
so-
thought the exact same thing about those upgrading the bombs and stuff. But I'll tell you what, it sure stops them from taking a lot more.
Right, and it's one of those things when you have to get to that situation to kind of fully understand how it would play, but just kind of thinking it through, it sounds like a good idea. I mean, I don't know. I'd like to ask you, what do you think I should do? Because you've honestly done it, and
Well,
you regretted it or not.
We kind of talked about it with Boneyard, I guess. And Boneyard said, they're critical. I think a lot of it has to do. I think that the mortar, and at first I didn't want to do the expo. I didn't want to upgrade it either.
Right.
But the amount of times I avoided a camp because the expos were higher level
Right.
than the first ones, because I knew with the first ones I could pretty much overpower them if they weren't placed well. If they weren't, like, I think you almost need to bunch them to really maximize it. Otherwise, they kind of become easy targets because they are single, things. But I think about the things that make me avoid the camp, and then the things that really trip me up, and it is splash damage a lot of the times, but the expos
I find that same thing with me, because when I go to a base, and you see a level 2 or a level 3 expo, you're like, for me, that's a no. It just is, because most likely if they have a level 3 expo, they're going to have some high mortar levels and some level 7 wizard towers, level 6, and with my barbs and archers army, that isn't going to cut it, So
well, it makes it unpredictable in terms of, you can go in and go up against those expos, and first of all, if they're pointed up, sometimes, with a ground army, I'm like, okay, that's awesome, I can get closer. But depending on your troop makeup and whether or not you can get your high hit point troops to be the ones that are like buffering, and then things are coming in behind them, it can be really rough. So the people that would mess with you are the ones that really want that loot, that you're going to have to make them work for it.
Right, and I guess I'll kind of figure this whole situation out once I get to once we do the trophy push or whatever, because I'll be trying different armies and I'll try going up against bigger expos and bigger bases. I've always farmed, just being completely honest, never really been a trophy pusher.
Well,
so that's just something I'll have to figure out.
I've done 2 trophy pushes, so I mean, I've always been a farmer. I've tried to see where my ceiling was, but it was always within, I think, regards to loot and all of that, and what I could get. So, but I do think that the loot update really changed it, because being higher in trophies, it's harder, because it's kind of put everything in a hierarchy. Like you really have to be, well, not, I guess it's not overall the case, but you really have to have a strong defensive camp and a strong army to trophy push, and it's kind of sorting it out, and I don't know, it just felt like it was you really had to earn it, you had to be strategic, with your camp and everything, and before people would just come in and take my town hall, because there wasn't much to gain besides that 200. But if you're sitting there with a lot, then you're a big target. Right.
And another thing with trophy pushing now is everything, anything to do with, once you get to 2,700 trophies, I've never been there, but I've known a ton of people and been in clans with people that have been there, and every one of them say the same thing. As soon as you go offline, you get raided.
Right.
As soon as you go offline, you get raided. And
well I'm hoping Melbo Man from our clan, he hangs up there, and I think what he does a lot, and it's kind of one of my weaknesses, I guess, because it's like with the farming, is that he spends a lot of time with his armies. He
right.
makes a powerful army and takes that time.
And it burns a lot of elixir too. That's what I guess I'm just a penny pitcher at this game, but I just don't like putting 200K in an army. You know what I'm saying? I just don't like it for some reason, because I can turn a 400K profit down here into a 40K army. So why,
right.
Put a lot of money into a...
Well, I think, honestly, I think that so when I went down and I was raiding, and I'm sitting around, I was at 1,600 and a little bit above, and I was doing the army. The stakes are a little bit higher, I think, I don't know, after that and going up, and I went back to my air army now, to get up there. I almost think you really have to spend elixir to get elixir. Because, I could go in and take 400, and my pumps are working too, and I actually got a lot. But if I am just looking for dark elixir, and now I can usually clear a lot more than what it cost me. And so now with that king upgrade, that's what I'm going to focus on, is going for dark elixir. Or with that barbarian, the king, and the strength things. And I want to do the Valkyries now, because the hit points on them just went up. Or what was it that went up?
I think they went up by, I can't remember how many hit points, but they went up a lot. I mean, and I've noticed that I've been checking in on top players to see if they're using them, and about 5 out of 10 of top players are using them. So, I mean, there's definitely some new ground there with troops.
Well, all of a sudden I've been seeing them, and I knew that was going to happen. I thought I've been ignoring them. But I am glad I did focus on the king. But I did take my focus away from dark elixir for a while. And, at least if I break even on a raid and get some good gold and some good, elixir, that's great, and I'll do that. But, I think from now on out, I'm going to be really pushing for dark elixir, because it's going to take a lot to get the king, the queen way up there, and then my Valkyries and golems and
right.
And that.
How much profit can you turn on dark elixir a day, or should I say, how much can you get a day?
Well, I've got 3 level 6 drills, so that's going to bring me in. If I provided at least I break even on the attacks. And then, and that actually helps in the shield too, after that, it makes a difference. It depends. To climb yesterday, I spent a little bit, but I think since, let's say about the same time yesterday, I've done about 10 grand, but I haven't, put in a lot of time.
Right. Well, I done mine the other day. I had 1,000 dark elixir. I done a queen upgrade, an archer queen, and it put me down to 1,000 dark elixir. And I found I got 6,000 dark elixir by the end of that day from I collected my pumps one time, and I got to, I think, 3,000, and then the rest was just raids. So
yeah, well, and it's nice. I wake up, after sleep and stuff, and I've got 1,600 in each of my drills sitting there. And then if I'm good, I can usually clear on a good raid. I double what I get, so it's usually like about 700. It takes, with my minions, it takes me about 700. But I've been giving out dark elixir troops, because that's the smallest one I have. I don't want in balloons and dragon. I don't want to keep giving those because they take so long. So yeah, I think I'll check on this. So where are your dark troops at? Are they?
The minions are going to level 5. The hog riders are going to be going to level 3 once those minions get done. I kind of had to put off the dark elixir troops at Town Hall 8, because I would have spent 2 months up there farming Dark Elixir.
Right.
To get all this Dark Elixir to do these upgrades with. So I strategized my Town Hall 8 and got it done really fast. I don't mean really fast, but 2 months fast. Or 3 months. It was somewhere along there.
Isn't that crazy that, you think about a game like this and, 2 months is, you're going, well, yeah, I'm playing this game for 2 months, but it's just kind of crazy.
It really is.
And I was thinking about this today. I'm sorry to interrupt
it's all good, dude.
But
I love talking about this kind of stuff.
I thought, the trophy push is coming up. I mentioned it to Boots again, and he said, we just got to get people on board. And I thought, well, I think it's coming up in March, so I've got a month and a half to get my camp as ready as I can. And I thought, how crazy is that I'm thinking about, I've got a lot of stuff to do in a month and a half, a lot of upgrades, and a whole strategy for a month and a half on this crazy little game.
Right. And back in the day when I was looking for, kind of a man with a clan, as you would say, man with no clan. I can't remember the saying you had behind that, but I was looking for a clan, and I found this clan, and all these guys, they were like level 40s and 30s, and they were all, Crystal 1. One guy was level 80, and he was like Master 1. It was crazy, And he was Town Hall 8, and I was like, what's your secret behind, trophy pushing so great? Because you guys are doing this. This was back in the day when Town Hall 9 was, like a maxed out, but yeah, the king, And I got the craziest response. He said, when we get done, we put a banana on our device when we get done playing until our next army is done. I probably shouldn't say this on the air, but it keeps your device online is what it does. Back when there was no playing time, yes. And what it does, it keeps the screen moving. Because this game is, the iPad and the iPod, it works with an iPad,
Yeah.
I tried it once. I've never really used it to push. I haven't used it at all, but I was like, does this really work, or are these guys just talking a bunch of crap?
That's crazy.
And I've never used it. I've never been one to cheat. But I put it on there, and sure enough, it was so sensitive that it just picks up and just starts touching everything, and it'll keep you online.
Like an unpeeled banana?
Yes, an unpeeled banana. Some people will use oranges, apples. It's crazy. Now, I don't encourage doing it at all.
Yeah,
it ruins the point of the game. But,
well, yeah, and quite frankly, the safety of it, because, it's like, well, then, at one point you're going to have to go off, and, what if, I don't know, something happens. Then you got to wipe your screen down, too.
Yeah, I know.
Whenever you want to raid.
Yeah, I was saying, I like taking my iPad places with me. That's, that's a different level of gameplay. You're really into this game,
Yeah. Well, and who knows how the algorithms have changed and stuff, but it's like, and part of it is, what I like about it too is that there's a little bit of a gamble every time you go away from the game,
Definitely.
and you're rolling the dice, and that kind of makes it a little exciting to me.
Right.
So, what else? What have we got here on our? Oh yeah, you were talking about the donation clan.
The donation. Oh yeah, the In the Dark.
Okay, what was it called? In the Dark.
Right.
Okay.
Sneaky Dave is in there. He's the highest player in the game right now. Last time I checked, he was like level, I think 215. If I'm not wrong.
Wow.
So what they do is, I run in that clan once when they were doing the donation contest, and what you do is they'll leave 3 spots open. You have to be above 200 trophies, and you join, you take troops, and you leave. And this system, that is one of the most active clans, in my opinion, that there is in Clash of Clans. Because if you look, every other minute, there's different players coming in and out, in and out, in and out, And everybody's donations is in some people's are in the 20,000s. I know Sneaky Dave's last month was 30,000 or something, if I'm not wrong.
Wow.
And then they done the donation competition, and one dude got 200,000 donations. Was gymming troops to donate. It was really crazy. So, that's a whole other different level of gameplay.
Well, it's a whole different way to engage it that I thought was really kind of cool, and it. They kind of they just created a set of different rules, and said, hey, look, maybe we can, do we can be really the best at a certain type of thing that wasn't expected maybe in the game.
Right.
I was looking the other day, and I'm going to look right now, but just looking at like the top players, they're only in the top player right now, and number 2 is 112.
Right.
And I think, wow, the level thing and the troop donations and being active, really does pay off, in terms of experience points,
Definitely.
you leveling up. And I think maybe that's something that kind of helps people. I don't know, when you see a player or a new player comes into the clan, I think those experience points and the levels all of a sudden start making a difference when you get up there, because it's saying you've been there for a while, you've donated.
Right. And you've earned your rights, kind of. You've donated a lot, you've played a lot, you just haven't gemmed your way up there. And within the Dark, I know they have a level requirement, and if you're not that level requirement, whether if you're a maxed out base, I can't speak for them, but from what my friends say, if you're a maxed out base and you're not that level requirement, they don't want you. They want players that are experienced, with all level 8 walls and that are Town Hall 9, level 120 plus. So
okay, so they have a and I do think those level 8 walls are kind of a defining. It's a different requirement, I think, at a certain point in the game. Like, I think the pink walls, are at a certain point.
Right.
The blue walls or purple or whatever, and then go into the black. But man, is it taking me a long time?
Right. And on the topic of clans, go ahead.
Nope, that's all right.
I want to mention this to Boots, and maybe he'll listen to this episode, but or maybe it's Big Timer. Yeah, Big Timer's leader now in Minnesota Nice 2.0. And what they would do if it was nice is, instead of having a donation limit, they should have a request limit where everyone has to request a minimum of 200 troops, weekly. That way, it keeps donations going constantly in the clan, instead of, one person donating a lot, but, only requested for 25 troops or 10 troops.
I really agree with you. Because I think in certain clans, being around, it was really hard. Like when I went to, I'm forgetting, the British Knights, just because of the time differences to get those donations in,
Mm-hmm.
and I like to be donating. I like to be active, and I like to get donations. But I think in some clans, I think people are afraid to ask. It seems to me like that. Like they'd want to donate, but they don't want to ask for troops, or they want to ask for, something I can't give, because if I've got an all-air army, I can't donate. But I think that'd be a good requirement.
Well, you got to look at the point of this when a lot of people look at it as, well, people need to be generous and generous and generous. Yeah, they need to be generous, but there's nothing wrong with requesting for troops. It just keeps your clan where everybody can donate,
Right.
Maybe not a limit. Maybe just whenever you want to request, go ahead and request. Whenever you can, request. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep donations circulating. If it's hard to get donations, it depends. It depends if your clan has a lot of open donations, then don't do it. Make it where people have to donate more. But if it's really tight, and hard to get in donations, make a donation limit. You're not making the clan organized and hard, being hard on people.
It could be both, right? It could be you have to donate and request 500 troops.
Yeah, I mean,
because you would also have to burn through. Well, I guess it would depend on what clan castle level you were.
Yeah, it depends on your clan, honestly. You really have to look at your clan and say, hey, are my members donating like they should be? Are they requesting like they should be? So that's just something you have to figure out,
Well, it would solidify the activity level in the clan, too.
Right. Definitely.
We all play about this much and whatnot. But, I know what you mean, because if you gain experience points through donations, and it's not like you're going, I want to climb doing those necessarily, but it's like, it's part of the game and part of going on. I've found, when it's hard to donate, it can be like, well, I'm used to my 1,000 or 1,500, and all of a sudden you're not getting that.
Yeah, and it makes your clan look better too. People don't realize that. It makes your clan look better. And when I go to a clan and I see someone's, requested for 3,000 troops and has donated 2,000, and everybody on the clan list is like that, that's a really high respected clan for me, because I know people are donating, and I know people are requesting, and I know there's a lot of activity going on.
That's something I never thought about.
So, I mean, look at that. When you go to a clan, you look at the donations of it. Look at the donations. Somebody's going to be even or uneven or whatnot, but you have to look at the facts. Someone's requesting troops and someone's donating troops. It's not, you don't have to say, people look at it as, is this clan active or not, so let me look. Oh, they're all hoarders. No, they're not hoarders. Everybody's just requesting troops, and you need troops.
Right.
Request.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with it. As long as you're donating. I was in a clan, and it had to be a 2-to-1 ratio. So what they meant by that was you had to request for 2,000 troops, and you had to donate 1,000 at least. So keep it a 2-to-1 ratio.
Oh, so it was. So
I can't get my words out. So
so it was, you had to request twice as many as you donated?
Right, and that was I was in that clan for about 4 months until I didn't meet requirements anymore.
Okay.
And I like that system. I really do, because it keeps everyone on their toes as far as activity. It isn't pushing people. It's just making people request and donate. And when people request like that, it's easy to get in donations. So it's not pushing no one at all, I don't think.
Right. Well, yeah, and I think that's a cool way to do it. And you do build your clan bigger.
Definitely.
And I hadn't really thought of it in that way before. So that's
people. You got to look at it like this too. When you join a clan, you want to be able to not be scared to ask for troops, in a sense. And if it's hard for you to get donations, you get scared, you might get kicked out. So make it easy for people to get donations, or easier. You don't want to have tons of people waiting for troops, but you want to make it when I'm online, 2 people might request, or 1 person instead of nobody.
Yeah. Well, and it's pretty good that way in Minnesota. Nice, where we just kind of people are. I think we've fallen into a rhythm over the last year where you just request, when you're ready, and it's usually about the ratio is usually about even, at least. And like Melb was, he one time said something about his donations not being even. And I said, well, you also, and I think he was one of the first ones with the highest level clan castle. Can't remember.
Right.
And so I said, well, you're asking for 30, troops, and you're donating to people who are only asking 15 or 20, or at the time or whatever. And so it's going to be off, and depending on when you're in and when you're out, and things like that too. So, but yeah, and I agree too, because if you're asking, and then you're going to be willing to ask, and then you're helping the lower level players, giving out some good troops too. So.
Right, and what I highly respect you guys' clan, by the way. I've never seen anything like it, and I love it. When I was there, it's a great atmosphere because everyone's in a chill mode. No one's really hustling no one to do this or do that or donate that. You just donate what's good troops for. In other words, barbs, archers. I can't speak for boots, but that's kind of what he said to donate.
Yeah.
So
it's basically don't donate bombers. Not usually. Sometimes bombers, gobs. Usually, unless somebody asks for them. And then it's pretty much whatever, whatever you ask for. People most of the time don't ask, but
right.
We actually do movie quotes most of the time.
I noticed that. And like I said, it depends on the circumstance of your clan. And you guys have a great thing going there at Minnesota Nice. And I respect it, because no one's hustling anyone and saying, hey, you have to get this or you have to get that. But if you have open requests sitting around, you have to.
Yeah. Well, I think it was Boaz who said, when he was talking about how if you request, and there should be no empty people underneath you. If you're going to request, you go fill whatever you can, up to that point. And I thought that was pretty cool. But I think, and here's where I think our clan, we did fall into a rhythm because there's been so many of us who have been there for a long time. And so it's not even within our clan that we, really have to say thanks. People just are
right.
It's just like, hey, okay, yeah, we're giving troops, and it's just going back and forth, and well, let's just talk about whatever else, and we do say thanks, and it's usually for if it's like hogs or something bigger that took time and stuff. But if it's barbs and archers, it's like thanks, but we don't. I think we've just been in a rhythm, and I think that that's a key to building a good clan, because I think people who look for a clan and want to be part of a clan, I really think the key is just time.
Definitely.
Getting people that stick around and kind of build that core, and as you go, you get into rhythm. Your clan kind of takes on a personality, I guess.
Right. Something I want to mention that's a lot of people don't think about, and I've tried this once before. If you're in a real organized type of clan where donations are very strict, you have to ask for archers and kind of that area. You have to ask for certain things. I've seen clans like that, but honestly, I've tried the wall breaker thing where you ask for wall breakers, and they say the wall breakers comes out and explodes the other troops. I thought that was a complete hoax or whatever. It's actually 110% amazing. I think it was Deep Fried Oprah who shared a video of it where if you've got the bombers in the clan castle and they're on defense, right,
they go out and attack, blow up whoever's.
They'll blow up a buttload of barbarians or archers. They'll just like a giant bomb almost would.
Right.
So
that would be something good to have, in the clan castle, or to put, say anybody that wants some, because I don't think in our clan we don't really think about it because always bombers had been, just attack troops, but knowing that is something that would be good. Have you had them in your?
Yeah, you gave me some of the level 6 ones.
Oh, okay. Oh, so they got defense. You're using them for defense.
Mm-hmm. And they were amazing. What's risky about it? If you do have an air raid hit you, where they use all balloons and minions, which is called balloonians, your bombers are useless.
Right.
But if you get hit by a ground raid, they're actually pretty useful. Now, you don't have people who say this doesn't work. I thought bombers were bad troops, and they are bad if you only get 2 of them. If you have a whole clan castle full, they're great. They just are. So if you can get them, I recommend trying them before some people go out and bash on them and say they're terrible. But
and I think you have to have them as the high levels.
Right, they can't be level 3. They need to be level 5 at least.
So yeah, I think higher level bombers for sure.
Definitely.
I gotta tell you, those level 6s, I love the splash damage on them. And when you said that about the troops, and only 2 of them, I've been noticing a lot that it seems to be like there's a critical mass that you need to have in troops. If I'm switching between armies and they kind of overlap, like if I'm switching between an air and and I get a bunch in or try an army, it's like if I don't have a full army that's really heavy with just a couple different types of troops, it seems like it is really hard to do to win.
Right. And something I need to mention to you right here, I'm going through my notes, and Scotty, you really need to, what you should do, man, is you should make you guys some of the Clash of Clans podcast t-shirts before I forget to say, this is off topic, and you could probably sell them for like $5 or $10 a piece or whatever, and I would definitely be on the list to buy one.
Well, I think we'd be giving them out to all the fans out there. Actually, we've talked about it, and I'm sure down the road here, Chris redesigning the logo and stuff, and us doing some new things too. Once we get that stuff finalized, because I would hate to have somebody with one of our old logo T-shirts on,
right?
Back from the old days. So, but yeah, that's a great idea.
Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, and there's some stuff coming up that we're working on and excited to get going, and so we'll have some announcements for those things.
Right.
Hopefully soon. So what else is
let's see here. What's trending?
Yeah, what have you been? What's, as Boneyard would say, what's been on the interwebs? What have you been hearing about? Or
Well, really, I was expecting to hear some stuff about what's coming next update.
already, huh?
I was hoping, but most of the time I'm checking the forums constantly for for hints and stuff. So if I ever find one, I'll definitely send you a Skype notification and post it on Twitter. So
yeah, I still think it's probably pretty early, but they're always working on something, and it seems like there's been a gear shift. They just re-engineered that Barb King and that Archer Queen, or the heroes, and man, that Iron Fist is.
It's amazing.
I didn't even realize that that there was barbs coming out or generating, and how are you gonna go with that? Do you have your Barb and Archer, or you got your heroes?
Yes, I have my heroes. My Barb King is level 6, but my Archer Queen is not eligible for her power yet. She's only level 3. But with the Barb King, what you can do now, since you're attacking, like, for example, I tried this on a level 10 Barb King the other day, just don't see how it would work. I needed to drop some trophies, and I had about 20 barbs. So what I did was I dropped 10 barbs on him, and then I dropped my Barb King and clicked the Iron Fist. He releases a rage spell, which when the other barbarians start attacking that Barb King or whatever, they just go right through him.
Oh, so, yeah, they become enraged too.
Right.
All the
so
barbs.
That's a good way of getting rid of a big hero. So
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh, you mean especially if they're for an upper level because the king that's guarding can't. Right.
Right.
So yeah, I've used it a few times. A lot of times it's just right at the end of attack, and I've been using the air, so I haven't been doing much with the barbs, in the attack. I'm scared to do my hogs since they decreased the damage per second, wasn't it? Or did they decrease the hit points? I can't remember.
The hit points, if I'm right.
Oh,
don't hate me if I'm wrong. I think it was hit points.
That's rough. So I've been scared of switching back because I'm working on my mortar and working on my camp a little bit too. So.
Hogs and Valkyries might be the new thing, man.
I know, and it seems to me that it's about time and how much you're willing to wait, and I think that's why I put off the Valkyrie and, why I don't use, I've got level 6 wizards and I need to switch armies when I'm going to play differently, when there's going to be like 2 or 3 hours before an attack, just do a really cool army, but you got to learn how to use them. And right. so I get a little gun shy about brewing up, how many archers do I need, or how many wizards versus, this kind of stuff. And
right.
So that's always cool. That's why it's cool to see other people's attacks and learn from other people too, how
right.
they do it.
Something the whole Clash Clans community should be concerned about. Not everyone, but throwing this out there, if Supercell, people are starting to realize if Supercell doesn't throw out Clan Wars here pretty soon, I think we're going to see a lot of people start leaving the game. The game is definitely going to, take a hit as far as, players, because we have 2 big games right now that are coming out that are just doing really well. We have Samurai Siege and Supercell's new game Boom Beach, which is going to get released here pretty soon in the U.S. So I think if Supercell doesn't get Clan Wars on Clash Clans, they could definitely see Clash Clans going down.
Yeah.
Not going down, but losing a lot of players.
Yeah. I think it's due for another change, and I thought, and I might this might be my prediction, and I was going to bring it up to Boneyard, but before I forget, I thought of after seeing Boom Beach and everything, I thought one of these updates, it might just be that we zoom out farther from that map, and that's how the map of the game changes, and you can suddenly see other things around you, and right. But I think if to keep going, I'm at Town Hall 10. I've got a bunch of things to upgrade. It'll take a while, but there's I can see maxing out a lot of stuff in not the near future, but not having, but in the foreseeable future, months and months of, but so I'm wondering when that Town Hall 11 is going to come, to keep that game, because if I was a top level player or, really high up, and some of the camps I go through, I think, these people have pretty much
gotten bored.
Yeah, well, they've got everything that they can get, pretty much. It's just probably walls and stuff at that point.
Right.
So I think that to keep that ceiling, they're going to have to go, because a lot of us players who have been playing now for a year and a half, who don't like gem like majorly or anything like that. We're comfortably graduating to Town Hall 10.
Right.
Boots just went there with a maxed out 9. And he's an average player, so I think he's a great player, but probably an average type of player for our clan and how we all play. Active, battling, all that, and not really gemming. So,
well, honestly, this is just with 100% honesty. If I don't see Clash of Clans getting Clan Wars within, I'd say 2 months or 3 months, I could probably see myself quitting, because I see another game out there that's called Samurai Siege that has all the features that this game doesn't, and a lot of people are moving to it. And I think Supercell, within 3 months, they could easily have it done. Supercell has.
How does a Clan Wars work in Samurai Siege?
Well, you go. I haven't really played it much, but when I did play it, you go kind of like on a trophy rush and against the other clan, and whichever one accumulates more trophies wins the gems, and everyone in the clan gets like 300 or 400 gems or something like that.
Okay.
But here's what's going to happen though. If I don't like saying this stuff, because I don't like predicting stuff, like predicting myself quitting the game I've been playing forever. Right. But when there's another game out there that has all these features that this one doesn't, and Supercell has a big community of workers.
Yeah.
They could easily get it done, man. You don't even understand how many. I don't think anyone does, or a lot of people do, but the average player doesn't understand, how many workers Supercell has, how many coders, different offices in all different countries. They could easily put it together.
Well, I think, I honestly think that, given, through everything we've done on the podcast, every time we say what you'd like to see, that is always something that comes up, the ability to go against clans. And like you said, I think when we were talking with Boneyard, that they are working on it. Hopefully the length of time that it's not been here, because I think that's something people really, really, really want to see, and will need to see. But I think that I'm just hoping that the whole retooling of the loot and everything that's kind of led up, that they're putting thought into it, before releasing it. And maybe it's an extension somehow of the league system, or whatnot.
Well, they definitely need to. I think if they don't hint at the community that it's coming, I know they want it to be a big surprise, but we haven't got nothing yet. Just someone or just us getting Clan Wars or some type of clan, event or something like that would definitely seize everyone for another month or two for them to finish the job completely.
Yeah, to look forward to it.
Right, because right now people are like, I want to go where it's at. I don't want to leave this game, but I kind of do. So
yeah, I think you voiced a lot of people's, concern, and especially the want for it to make those trophy pushes competitive in different ways, not just on those leaderboards and stuff like that. So, well, we're about 55 minutes. Is there anything you want to talk about before we wrap up?
No, I'd like to give a couple of shout outs, if that's all good.
Go for it.
Big shout out to you, Scotty, for having me on. I highly appreciate it. Shout out to Boneyard.
Sorry for the last episode and everything too. So I'm just glad we got to re-record. So.
Oh yeah, man, it's all good. I'm sorry for my connection issues.
Oh,
and
no
a shout out to my sister Delana and my friend Rich who plays. That's about it.
Yeah, shout out to Delana, Rich. Still
Minnesota
level
Nice
3.
2.0.
The level 3 hogs running across that field. That still gets me.
I know it.
So,
that's
well,
about
thank
all
you,
I have.
man.
I appreciate it, man, and I'll definitely catch you in the next time.
All right, sounds great.
All right, man.
Peace.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.